Welcome to Africa's #1 sports podcast show, the Africa Sports Report. From the Straits to Gibraltar, to the Cape of Good Hope, and from the Horn of Africa to the point of no return in Senegal, we bring you the critical issues like no other. Insightful, inspiring, and engaging. We engage stockholders and world-class athletes like no other. And now, your host, Leslie Koroma.
Hello and welcome to the Africa Sports Report podcast. I'm your host, Leslie Koroma, and I want to welcome you all to this special podcast today because this is dedicated to the Day of the African Child. And we're observing the Day of the African Child with a couple of interviews I did with two set of youngsters. I say two sets because the first is a set of twins, Aliyyah and Yasmeen Koloc, who are aspiring and inspiring. I say aspiring and inspiring because they are just starting their careers and they're set to be major trailblazers in the sports world. So I want to welcome you all, and I look forward to you all staying on to listen to these interviews with these young ladies. It's very dynamic set of young ladies who at one point in time were vying to be major tennis stars. They wanted to walk the path of Venus and Serena Williams, but unfortunately, it didn't work out like that for them. But like I said, you know, life has an interesting way of turning things around in a very positive way at that for these young ladies. And so now we are seeing them in a major light as opposed to potentially having to walk under the shadows of Serena and Venus Williams. These young ladies are now charting a path, blazing a trail for themselves in the world of motorsports. So I look forward to that conversation with them. And then I caught up with this young man out of Nashville, Tennessee, USA, with a parent from Sierra Leone, and of course here in America as well. Semaj Toussaint. Semaj is an aspiring Olympian and world champion. So he's a fencer, and fencing is, you know, not. It's unlike a lot of the sports that are young in Africa practice, whether it's soccer or basketball or, you know, or running. This is not the norm. So I'm going to give you an insight into what is it that makes Semaj tick, and how he intends to use this sport to inspire his compatriots as well as generations to come behind him. Today, the Day of the African Child, or this show, which is dedicated to observing the Day of the African Child, kind of puts perspective to what happened on June 16, 1976, when hundreds of youngsters were killed and massacred by security forces in South Africa. The backdrop of this story is based in the dark years of oppression and apartheid in South Africa, where young people were decided to take upon the mantle themselves, as opposed to just their elders who were out there in the trenches fighting the battle to get rid of the evil practice of discrimination in the form of apartheid. These youngsters decided to take to the streets after the government decided they were going to implement or force down their throat the practice of having to receive instructions in Afrikaans, which is a predominant language which is spoken in the white community in Southern Africa. So they took to the streets to protest, to buck against the system. And unfortunately, with a heavy hand, the South African government responded with mass killings in this case. That battle for self-determination continues to transcend that period till now. It's been 40-some years removed from that time till now. And we're commemorating that day with this Day of the African Child. And we're now looking at what this new generation has to deal with. So the challenges are not as acute or dark as it was, when it seemed like there was no hope. Today, youngsters across the world, whether it's in Africa or other parts of the world, have an opportunity to speak up and be heard through a variety of channels. Back then, there were no channels like social media and all this stuff, but today there is. So, and in fact, that's what was giving me the opportunity to talk to these two sets of youngsters today in this show. So I look forward to this show and what these youngsters have to say about themselves, and what they have to say about their current situation as far as their social, political, social, cultural aspect of life and what it means for them today. And how they intend to inspire their compatriots as well as future generations to come. So I welcome you again to this show, the Africa Sports Report podcast, with a special focus on the Day of the African Child. And so please sit tight and I'll be right back. Before I go on to bring you that interview with these prodigies, these brilliant young women and young men, I would also like to share with you the some messages from Major League Soccer players observing Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a holiday that celebrates the day African Americans in Texas finally got the message that slavery had been abolished. So I am going to share these messages with you before we're going to bring you the interview. So sit tight and yes, we celebrate the Day of the African Child, a bridge between that and also Juneteenth as well in the United States.
Yeah, my thoughts overall on Juneteenth are positive, simply because, you know, it's a holiday that's now nationally recognized, and I think that's a great thing. It's part of American history, and I think it's a good thing for it to be out in the forefront for everyone to learn about. What freedom means to me simply is, as long as one isn't denying anyone else of their rights, it's the ability to live their life and however he or she chooses to do so. To be able to elevate themselves if they're willing to work hard enough to do so, the ability to be able to relax and live in peace if one so chooses.
To me, Juneteenth is a reminder for all Americans to understand and recognize African American history, to understand how far this country's come, but also to understand how far we have to go. To me, freedom is having the power to be able to think what you want to think and be who you want to be. To me, freedom is as important as anything in this country.
Yeah, so Juneteenth is essentially just a celebration of the end of slavery. And for the Black community, that's a very historical moment. And it's a way for us to connect to our ancestors, you know, all the sacrifices they made for our freedom. And two, it's like they had so much strength, unity, and like resilience. When Juneteenth comes around, it's a way to connect with them. We're not only celebrating them, but we're celebrating how far we've come. So personally, freedom means the ability to express myself in all areas of my life without fear or doubt. And I like to correlate this to Inter Miami's saying of the freedom to dream. And I see dreams as, dreams are attainable if we have the courage and belief to pursue them. And that's something that has helped me get to where I am today, and something that I think the Black culture and community has the freedom to do, is dream of the reality that we want to create.
When I think about Juneteenth, I think about progress, whether that's freeing slaves in 1865 or recognizing it as a national holiday recently. I think our country has always been working towards being a place of inclusivity, and as we continue to work toward that, I think recognizing it as a national holiday is another big step for us, and it's a beautiful thing to all celebrate it together on such a public stage. When I think about freedom, I think about empowerment, to be free to dress how you want, speak how you want, be who you want to be. I think that's very empowering, and the more we can have that in our country, I think the more beautiful place it will be to live.
Hello and welcome to the Africa Sports Report podcast. This is your host, Leslie Koroma, and I have with me groundbreakers in this business, in the business of motorsports. Aliyyah and Yasmeen Koloc. These are young ladies who are making waves in the motorsports business in the world. And I'm pleased to have them here with me this morning, my time. Obviously, it's afternoon in Europe. But welcome to Aliyyah and welcome Yasmeen.
Thank you.
Hi. Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Now, first of all, you guys are twins, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay, all right. I want to give the audience a little background to who you guys are. So, you guys introduce yourselves individually and tell us who your parents are and where your parents are from, so that way they have a background to who you guys are. Aliyyah, we'll go with you first.
Okay. Hi, I'm Aliyyah. I'm 17 years old. I race cars, and my parents are from Seychelles. My mother is from Seychelles and Sudan, and my father is from Czech Republic and Vanuatu.
Okay, all right. Yasmeen?
Hi everyone. I'm Yasmeen. Happy to be here. I'm also 17 years old, and I also race cars. And we share the same parents. So yeah, my mother is half Seychelles, half Seychellois, and half from Sudan. And my father is half Czech and half from Vanuatu.
Okay, Vanuatu, you say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's in the Pacific Islands.
Yes.
Right. Wow, you guys are truly multicultural, truly global. And thank you all for, like I say again, for taking the opportunity to talk with me about what you guys do. This is monumental. I was doing a little background stuff about your careers, your short careers so far. You guys are really truly making waves. One thing that came to mind, or that I saw, is that you guys have a deep sports background. First of all, that you guys were aspiring tennis pros, right?
Yes, we were.
Yes.
All right. So tell us what happened to that dream in tennis.
Well, for me was quite interesting actually. I played tennis for 11 years, and I had a wrist injury, which took me out, and I had to get surgery. And Aliyyah finished tennis a year earlier than me due to also an injury in her knee. So she started racing right after that. And after my surgery, I followed in her footsteps a year later. And I also fell in love with motorsports, and from then I started racing.
Wonderful. So in terms of your aspirations, because what I also found out that you guys were hoping to be the next Williams sisters, right?
Yes, we were.
Okay. Well, God has a great sense of humor, I would say, sense of humor in the sense that he said, no, you guys are not going to follow that path. That path has already been blazed. The trail has already been blazed. So what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to let you guys be the trailblazers in a different direction. And that's what you are, the Koloc sisters. You guys are like the Williams sisters, trailblazers. So how about that?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Right? That's a silver lining to to what happened to your tennis dreams, because obviously you guys wanted to play tennis real bad and wanted to be the Williams sisters. But look at the glory and the attention in the level that you guys are at right now in terms of motorsports. And motorsports is a massive business globally. So you guys are at the vanguard of something really tremendous here. So Aliyyah, tell us. I mean, before we even go to talk about your start in the motorsports business, tell us what you think about this transformation from tennis to motorsports and what it means to you.
Well, motorsports, I loved it since a young age because our father used to race. So since a baby, I always loved racing. But after I stopped tennis, there was a small period where I didn't do anything. So it was probably one of the hardest points in my life, because after tennis, then after training and working hard for all these years and then stopping, it was really difficult. But when I started racing, I first started working with my father in the business side. And then I started racing, and from the start. I really had fun. I really enjoyed it when I first started driving. And I think it was a really good decision because racing, I have a real passion for it. And I think my injury from tennis, I think it really led me to a good path, and I'm very happy with where I'm at now.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yasmeen, the transformation from tennis to motorsports, obviously you followed after Aliyyah started, right? What made you, because it's not necessarily the fact that you may have necessarily wanted to do motorsport, but what triggered you? What made you want to go in the same direction as your sister? I know twins are twins, right? But, you know, I have twins myself. I got a son and daughter that are twins. But, you followed in Aliyyah's footstep. So what triggered you to go in that direction?
Well, I was also at that point where I was at the end of my tennis career and after surgery. So I was just going with my sister to trainings and watching her. And then I started also trying simulators. And from then I wanted to race. So yeah, that's basically where it started.
Awesome. Look, we've had trailblazers in the sports, in every sport. There's Danica Patrick in motor racing. You guys know her very well, you know, in the US. And obviously, as a woman, she was the first out there, you know, Indy 500, and to do it. And obviously, you guys are not the first women, but the first women of color, minorities, to blaze a trail in the motorsports business. Tell us a little bit that you know about the role of women in the motorsports business and what your perspective. I know you guys may have done a little history, checking out the sport and see who's who, what's what. Which one of you want to take on this question?
Well,
I'm seeing now. Well, I'm seeing now women more in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing there's some more, how do you call these events? So we're seeing for women in motorsport. We still have a long way to go because not enough, but slowly by slowly, we're trying to inspire more young girls also in color to try the sport. And it's not even just in racing, but in mechanic, engineer, whatever. So we're trying to inspire all young girls to follow their dreams in motorsport, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we're trying our best.
Okay, that's awesome. So your start, everything has a start. Aliyyah, I'm still going to stay with you because you're the one that started first. Obviously, you started with racing in a truck, right? So yes. Tell us about that first experience, your first professional, official driving experience. What was that like?
Well, the truck, it's very unique from all the racing you see. So the first time I was there, it was really surreal, I would say. It was strange, like everything you start. It was really strange at first, but I think after a while of trying it, I started to get the hang of it. Even the first time driving it, it was a really, really fun experience. And I also started doing a rally off-road before the trucks even. So it was a really interesting, but I had a lot of fun. And after that testing, we just continued and started going karting and driving. And it was since I started driving, I didn't get a break from driving. I started driving all these different cars, but I'm really been having a lot of fun these past few years.
Okay. So Yasmeen, both of you guys, you started shortly after. How long have you guys been racing? This question is for you, Yasmeen. How long total?
I have been racing this is my 3rd year in racing. So that's really cool.
Okay, so you guys do both track racing, on the track, and then you do off-road, right? In fact, as I understand, you guys are prepping for the Dakar Rally, which is a massive event, one of the biggest motorsports events in the world. The Dakar Rally has gone through a transformation historically, and they've made the adjustments over the years. It used to be the Paris-Dakar Rally, used to come through Africa. In fact, at one point in time, I remember it came through my own home country in Sierra Leone. That's where I was born. So my experience, I saw it firsthand. I saw the cars, I saw the trucks, I saw the motorbikes. It was an amazing, just to see him go through, it was really an amazing event. So now you guys are going to be part of that. And what team are you going to be part of at the Dakar Rally, which I understand is going to be taking place in the Middle East, traversing through Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. What team are you guys going to be part of? And tell us what your preparation is like right now for that off-road, the most massive off-road affair in motorsports in the world.
Well, we are racing with Bagheera Racing, which is our home team, where it's like a big family. And yeah, we're gonna be driving with the Can-Ams, and our preparation is a lot of physical training and also mental preparations, because it's gonna be a really tough rally. Definitely with eating, getting in proper shape with the health part, and yeah, also of course a lot of driving in the desert.
Yes, that's a challenging situation right there. And that brings me to Aliyyah. Aliyyah, you've been driving, like you said, for like sister about 3 years now, a little over 3 years, I would say. But what's been the most challenging experience of your driving career thus far, your young driving career from the start till now? What's been the most challenging one, physically, mentally, and otherwise?
The most challenging would be maybe being, let me think about it.
Is it off-road or the track? Or I mean, which one was it? I mean, conditions, drivers you had to navigate through and all this stuff. I mean, what was it? I mean, what was it like? Which one has it been?
Well, everything at both circuit and rally is pretty tough. But in the beginning, it was, I would say, in trucks, people would underestimate me for being a girl. So that's the first thing. But and then that was also pretty tough. But after, I think I showed them sometimes. So after that, it kind of settled down a little bit. But I think also the toughest was traveling a lot, because we're in a lot of championships. So always, I mean, we did it almost all our life, but still being on the road all the time and going to all these different countries in a short amount of time is pretty tough, I would say.
Okay, so moving from place to place has been the challenging aspect of what you guys do so far.
Yeah, I would say that's one of the toughest parts.
Okay, so what that's telling me is that you are natural, so which means that nothing on the series in terms of the off-road racing as well as on the track challenging of the drivers has nothing on you, right, whatsoever.
I mean, physically, sometimes it's hard in the heat. My last race, it was really hot, so the heat is always a challenge. And then rally, rally, I would say you're alone in the desert with only your co-driver. So when it's a situation with the car, when there's problems, that's always hard, because I'm still learning on being a good mechanic. I'm not bad, but in the rally, it's difficult when you have a problem with the car and have to fix it. That was also one of the tough parts, which we're getting ready for Dakar.
For Dakar, okay.
Learn more about the car.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yasmeen, you are, like you say, you guys are, hand to hand in this one and moving forward. We have, for me, this is about the issue of breaking barriers and trailblazing. I mentioned that in the beginning, talking about the Williams sisters, how you guys are the Williams sisters of motor racing. And the Koloc sisters. So we're not going to even, in fact, talk about the Williams sisters, but the only thing is in reference because I want people to kind of connect the two in terms of what you guys are doing for motorsports. Obviously, there are definitely going to be issues with race and other things in every arena in life, groundbreaking. Somebody has to go in and blaze a trail. We have Jackie Robinson for baseball in America, and we have Jesse Owens in the 1936 Olympics, and of course you got Sir Lewis Hamilton from United Kingdom. You got Bubba Watson in America, obviously. You guys are, that's the two women. You guys stand toe to toe, hand in hand. You guys are sisters. The experience of being groundbreakers, barrier breakers, glass shatterers, I could go on and over the adjectives, but what is your view so far in the experiences that you've had? Obviously, I know definitely there's been a few incidents here and there, but how have you guys dealt with those, and what are your perspectives in terms of pushing the barrier, continue to push it to make it as acceptable for anyone else to be able to race out there, regardless of color, regardless of whatever the background is of that person? Tell us what it's been like for you guys, Yasmeen.
Well, for us, we have had our past experience of discrimination in Dakar, but of course, it's unacceptable because we're all human and we all should have equal opportunities, no matter the race or gender. And we try to inspire and bring out more opportunities for everyone with skin color and different gender, because that's really important for us to have equal opportunities, not only in motorsports, but in everyday sort of sports.
Okay, all right. I mean, that's noble, and that's great. Have you guys been able to meet Lewis Hamilton?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Not. Hopefully,
you guys hope
hopefully one
day. Hope so.
Okay, I know he definitely is someone that keeps tabs on the sport, and he definitely should have heard about you guys by now. And I think at some point in time, either he's going to reach out to you guys, or you guys are going to bump into each other out there somewhere, right?
Hope so.
Is that your dream to meet this great guy, this amazing trailblazer out there, Sir Lewis Hamilton?
It would definitely be a great opportunity.
Okay, all right, okay. What about Bubba Watson from the United States? He's also doing an amazing job out here in terms of breaking barriers as a African American, race car, driver. And so, what about him? What do you guys hope to meet him too at some point in time?
Of course.
Wonderful. The issue of race, Aliyyah, the experiences that you guys have had, is it from a management standpoint or from a fan perspective? Because these things come in different shades. It might be somebody at management who doesn't want somebody of color to be racing in a race, or it might be fans who are just unruly and just silly, just stupid. What's the experience been like? Is it from a management standpoint or from the fans?
I would say more from the fans. We have a really great team around us, so they're really nice, and they never judge us. But for the fans, that was really hard. One of the hardest things with the race, because we always get here and there some comments or some looks, but after the last time in Dakar, we just said, you know, enough is enough. We had enough of staying quiet, and we're starting a campaign of respect, equality, and diversity, because we're trying now, because I would say enough is enough, because we're all human trying to you know, chase our dreams, whatever it may be. So we obviously still hear and get all these comments, but this pushes forward, and we just try to not listen to them anymore, and just do what we do. And yeah, you always, whatever we're gonna do, we're gonna get some kind of comment from somewhere. So we just use it to push us forward and show them and on the track, let's say.
Yeah. You let your work, let your race speak for you, right?
Exactly.
That's right.
Action
That's right.
speaks words.
There you go. I like that. That determination, that drive to prove to the world that you belong. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what a fan says. It doesn't matter what somebody at the highest level of management of a race series says. It's about what you can do out there and how you guys have proven yourself to handle yourself. That's what matters. And I'm really proud of that, the approach that you guys are taking, and taking the mantle on yourself. You know, sometimes, you know, we all want to just get by, just be quiet about the whole thing and say, oh man, I don't want to get involved in all this hoopla about all these racial issues and all that stuff. But then people kind of force your hand for you to actually do something about it, because it's essential in this respect, diversity, and equality. I like that. I like that mantra, which is just something which is really great. And it's important because you guys, like I said again, you guys are trailblazers. You know, you guys are the vanguard of opening the door for the young girls, you know, in going into the future. You guys come from a truly multicultural background. The Czech Republic, Vanuatu, Seychelles, and South Sudan. Wow, that's truly, really an amazing global background. It truly is, you know, and yes, and your mom, yes, and your dad, truly proud of what they're doing to support you guys, especially your dad who opened the door for you guys to get into, because obviously he could have said, hey, you guys, no tennis, here, come into car racing right away. But he let you guys go through the period of discovering yourselves and going through the transition of going through tennis, failing, and then rediscovering yourself, right? So tell us a little bit about that and his own career before we talk about other stuff.
So our father used to race. He's a two-time track racing champion, and he's the team boss of Bagheera Racing. And when we started in tennis at 4 years old, and he didn't push us into racing. He didn't want us to get all the doors open because he was already in racing. So we did tennis, but eventually it just all fell back into racing. And it's really nice having it in the family. We're traveling a lot with him. So it's really nice to spend the time together. And I think he's also enjoying it a lot.
Okay. And that definitely is, because that's his own passion as well. And thankfully you guys stepped into his shoes. Bagheera Racing, Yasmeen, tell us a little bit about Bagheera, the outfit. Aliyyah, you just talked about that a little bit. Bagheera, tell us, Yasmeen, you tell us a little bit about Bagheera as a team.
Well, Bagheera is definitely one hell of a team. We're like a big family. We are in truck racing, in Dakar, in GT, and newly in Euro NASCAR. So it's really exciting, and we're doing a lot of different championships. And I'm really proud to be a driver for the team, and not just the drivers are awesome, but the engineers and mechanics. It's just we all vibe well together.
Wonderful. Aliyyah, you guys also partnered up with MFT Racing, which is with Mr. Ludovic. who is from Mauritius. Is a great friend, obviously, and tell us about that connection, that partnership, and what Ludovic has been able to do in terms of inspiring you guys to be better at what you guys do.
Well, with Ludovic, at first, he's a really nice guy, which is always important when you're with somebody. But we were all going for the same goal for equality in motorsport. So then our paths just crossed in the right timing, and so far we've been doing some speeches. Last time we did for in Cannes, which was pretty cool. And it's just the beginning of Bagheera MFT collaboration, and hopefully in the future we're going to be doing some more and open some more barriers for the younger generation.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I prefaced this show and told you guys that this show will be is being done to observe the Day of the African Child, which is on June 16th. That's every year on June 16th. You guys are inspiration to many. You're trailblazers. So tell us, have you guys been to Africa?
No, we actually haven't. Have we?
Okay.
Aliyyah, have we?
Okay. Not yet, right?
I don't think so. I don't think yet.
Okay. So your mom is from Seychelles in South Sudan, and so which definitely gives you a destination to go to first and foremost. Right. So I want you guys to put that on your list of places to go. It's important, we're not in a rush. I mean, build your careers, continue to build your careers first, but I would advise at some point in time, yes, it'll be definitely a big plus, a big event in itself for you guys to make that trip eventually. We're not saying that because I'm asking it will make you guys go out of your way to do that, because you guys have your careers right now in front of you. You guys are very busy with your schedule. So I would say at some point in time when things kind of simmer down a little bit for you guys to eventually make that trip. I would have thought the Dakar rally, which definitely changed directions because of security issues in Africa, would have been ideal for you guys to have that experience as well. But anyway, going back to the issue of Africa and African children and being inspirations to others out there globally as well, because it's not just about the African children, but this is about children everywhere in the world. This is about young girls of color everywhere in the world. This is about all girls, not necessarily just young girls, but all girls, white and black and Asian and everyone else, right? So you guys are great trailblazers. So what would you want to say individually? Let me let you guys imagine you talking to a set of young girls in front of you. What would you say to them in terms of what it means to be at the forefront of a movement? Because I call this not a movement for you guys. What would it mean for them to be in your shoes? Tell us what you would say to them to inspire them to be better people, to go for their dreams. Yasmeen, I'll start with you.
Well, I would tell them, follow your passion, follow your heart, follow your dreams, and don't let other people's words criticize you. And it takes a lot of hard work to get where you want to go. And always have the right people around you. Always try to have the right people, and always be around support. That's really important, and always keep pushing and never give up.
Wonderful, wonderful. Aliyyah, what would be your message to those young kids sitting in front of you, and you're sitting there or standing in front of them and they've asked you to address them, to talk to them, young girls? What would you say to them?
Well, I'd also, it's follow your dreams, and you're always gonna get criticism from people from wherever you're from. You're gonna always get some kind of comments, but let it push you forward and don't listen to them. It will be difficult because we all have our ups and downs, but always follow your goal and your passion, and that have a good support system. I'm just repeating what Yasmeen said, but That's what I would say, basically.
Okay. Yeah, I get you. So now, just to close here, would you please just look directly into your camera and wish everyone out there happy Day of the African Child to everyone out there, individually. Yes, Yasmeen?
You can go.
What do I say?
Happy Day of the African Child to everyone out there.
Okay, good. Happy Day of the African Child, everyone.
Thank you. Aliyyah?
Sorry. Happy Day of the African Child, everyone. I just repeated the same thing she said, but oh.
That's okay. So
I just remember we've been to Mauritius. So there you go.
All right. Wonderful. That's wonderful. So I want to thank you all.
Just talk about Africa.
Oh boy. All right. Well, look, I want to thank you all, both of you, for taking your time out to, like I said, coming on this program. So thank you again. Thank you for taking your time.
Thank you for having us. We enjoyed it a lot. I'm sure we can speak for the both of us.
You're welcome. Aliyyah, thank you.
Thank you too. Did I do okay? Oh my, I get nervous in interviews.
Oh, you get nervous on interviews. Okay, I mean, I understand
It's not my
that.
specialty.
I understand that. Well, folks, that was my interview with the Koloc sisters. I'm just very proud of them and what they're doing, and they're trailblazers, massive trailblazers in this business. They decided to take their talents elsewhere, to use the LeBron James quote there, take their talent to another sport when tennis didn't work out for them. So pleased to have insight into what they're doing, and we'll be very supportive of their progress in what they're doing going forward in life. So we look forward to continue to cover them, to see their progress and everything that they do. I'll now move on to the next segment of the show, which is to talk to Semaj Toussaint, a young fencing prodigy in this case. Semaj is an aspiring Olympian. He wants to go to the Olympics at some point in time in his career. So I'll talk to Semaj, and you get a clue as to what makes this young man tick. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Leslie Koroma, with the Africa Sports Report podcast, and I'm here with a young protege in Semaj Toussaint, and he is a fencer, as you can see from his outfit out there, and he's got all these medals and trophies, and I'm really happy to be interviewing him today. Welcome, Semaj.
Thank you for having me on here.
You're very welcome. Fencing, man, that's really a unique sport, and definitely it's been in the Olympics for forever, pretty much. Yep. We've always had the privilege to watch mostly Western nations participate in fencing, but you are of Sierra Leone descent, and obviously it's refreshing just to realize that you are a fencer, and I understand that's your show, as you see sitting there, the audience can see you, that you are really a good fencer at that. So tell me, what got you interested in fencing, and then give us a little background to your Sierra Leonean-ness, your background to your connection in Sierra Leone.
Okay, well, for the Sierra Leone question, my dad, he was born in Sierra Leone, and he came over to America like in the mid-1990s. Then he met my mom, and then obviously they settled down and they ended up having me. But I've never been to Sierra Leone personally, but I really want to go there one day. Wonderful. And then for how I got into fencing, well, basically, for the longest time, I wanted to play football because, that's what all kids my age, like in elementary school, want to do mostly. But then when the pandemic came around and I was actually doing virtual school, my mom found this club that had an open house, and she was like, Semaj, let's go there and let's try it out. I'm like, fencing? Sword fighting? I don't want to do sword fighting. I want to do football. She was like, no, Semaj, come on, you're going to do it. And then I actually went there and I had lots of fun doing it. And soon after, I would start taking lessons, and then fast forward to now, and here we are.
Wonderful, amazing. You know, there's a lot of folks out there who have seen fencing, but they've never been privy to watching it and the scoring and how you get to win a match and all. Obviously, it looks like straight up sword fighting, right? But a lot of folks are not privy to how you get your points, how you win, because obviously I've seen it at the Olympics. Myself, I've had to go back and check out a few stuff myself to come back and talk to you about it. So can you educate our audience out there on how the sport itself goes and how the scoring is done, how you get to win a match?
Okay, so first off, in fencing, there are 3 types of weapons you can use. My type of weapon I use is FA. So I have the big bell guard, and then my whole body part is the target. So they can hit me anywhere on my body, including my mask. But there's other types like foil and saber, where only certain parts of the body are where you can hit in order to get a point. And they also have right of way, which is a bit confusing, but it's basically whoever's going in that forward motion and hits first wins. But for us, FA, it's a bit more simple, and there's no right of way. So anywhere on the body part you hit can be a touch. That's what we call it.
Okay.
And for tournaments, it starts out with a pull bout. The easiest way I can explain it is they split up all the competitors and put them in like groups of 5, 6, or 7. And everybody in that pool will fence each other, and it'll impact your seeding because they do a bunch of math, like touches scored against you compared to touches you scored against them, or how many pull bouts you won. So it's kind of like the regular season of like in the NFL or the NBA. And then after that, we have DEs, which is direct elimination bouts. So that's like the tableau, where we'll have like the first seed going against the worst seed, of course. And it's only like in multiples of it'll be like 2, 4, 16, 32, and 64. So as you go through your way in DEs, or I forgot to mention, pull bouts only go to 5 points. So whoever gets 5 points first, they'll win the pull bout. But if you're tied like 4-4, and then you guys both get 5-5, or like when the time runs out, then there's going to be this thing called the priority. And basically the light, because every time you score, each person has to assign light, either red or green. The light will like flicker to both sides, and it'll kind of like stop randomly. And whoever wins that light thing has the priority. So then they don't have to score at all. The person that has priority will just try to run out like the 30 seconds that they get, basically. But the person who doesn't have the priority will be trying to get a single touch on that person so they can win that pull bout. But back to DE. So DEs is to 15 points. Right. And you get three 3-minute periods with a 1-minute rest in between. So whoever wins that DE will essentially advance to the next round, and it'll keep going and going till the finals. And that's basically it, pretty much.
All right. I mean, that's quite educative, and you're deeply into the sports, and I absolutely appreciate you breaking it down like that because it's not about me. It's about the basic person out there, most of the folks out there who kind of follow what I do and will basically want an inkling, an idea into. They've seen fencing before, but the reality is they may not know how it's scored. They may not know how it's played. They see it, they think it's plain old sword fighting, and obviously it's a simulated sort of sword fighting in a sense. But then like I say, you have all this protection and all of that. So for you, what age? You say you started during the pandemic, because obviously you started recently, so a couple of years ago, right? So what's been your trajectory of progress since you started, and the amount of wins that you've had, medals? I see how many medals you got there on you?
I have 3 on me here, but I have 3 over here. So 6 medals in total and 2 trophies.
6 medals and 2 trophies.
Yes.
Awesome. Are those individual? I mean, of course, the medals are individuals. What about the trophies? Are they team trophies or individual? Mm-hmm.
They're all individual. I don't really do team events. Not yet.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, your level of accomplishment, how do you rate yourself right now in terms of your progress? Do you see yourself becoming an elite fencer in the next 2 years?
Okay, for me, just between us two, I'd rate my progress like at least in A, because I've only been fencing for 1 year and 6 months, and it's kind of unheard of to get a national rating and be regionally ranked within that short time period.
Okay, all right. Hey, man, congratulations to you on that. That's massive. I'm really excited at that. They're really impressed. That's awesome. Congratulations on that.
I can tell you about my tournament experience if you want.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Give me some. Give our audience a clue into how it's been so far for you.
Okay, well, my first tournament, it was this local tournament because they have a classification: local, regional, and then national and international. But my first tournament was a local tournament, and it was for my first national rating, which was an E. So in the rating system, it goes U, which stands for unrated, then E, then D, and then up to A. And then the year is the second part. So the last 2 digits of that year you got it determines the rating. So at my first tournament, the local one, I earned my E22. I actually earned it twice because I won both events, but that's what the rating thing is. And then my second one would be a regional tournament where I did pretty well at, but I didn't get a new national rating. I was just stuck at the same thing. And then the most recent one was, after that one, I also went to another local one, and I got second place in that one. And then the most recent was the regional. It was called the Battle of Peachtree. Okay. And I earned my D22 because I managed to upgrade my rank. But the biggest tournament out of all of them was probably when I went to the Junior Olympics in fencing. It was a really good experience, and I met multiple Hall of Fame fencing people, and they taught me some really cool tricks.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. So ranking wise, you talked about ranking, right? You got state ranking, and then you got national rankings, right?
Yes.
What's your ranking in the state of Tennessee?
Well, it's more of regional because it's Tennessee, Kentucky, and some other states. Well, in my regional ranking for Division II, I am ranked 90th. Okay. And yes. And then for my junior, it's a division, so there's junior too. For my junior ranking, I am 44th in my region. And then for cadet, I am ranked 28th in my region.
Wow. Impressive. Very impressive. And that's very encouraging. Very encouraging. So let's look at outlook. Let's look at where you want to go with this. What's your objective? I know you got mom and dad support. Your dad is a avid sports fan, obviously a great athlete himself. But what we want to look at is, your dad was a national athlete for Sierra Leone. So definitely you are at a position to emulate your dad, right? But you're born here in America, so obviously you would love to see if you can represent America, but at the same time, there's a possibility of you representing Sierra Leone at the World Championships as well as the Olympics, right? So give me an idea, give our audience an idea of what you would like to, how you would like to proceed with your career in terms of going to the elite level.
Okay, well, first, I have like 3 more years in high school, so I plan to keep going to the national competitions between those 3 years. But then for college-wise, I plan to go to an Ivy League college most likely, or like a college with a really good aviation program, because I really want to be a pilot.
Okay.
But
all right.
yeah, I want them to have a D1 fencing team though too, so that way I can go to maybe the Olympics or the World Championships. And I just want to really continue that until maybe when I'm 30 or something, and then I can retire. But I really do want to compete at the Olympics, whether it be representing Sierra Leone or USA, whichever one. But I really just want to take this as far as it can go.
That's amazing, because you have 2 Olympics coming up. One is in Paris in 2 years' time. I think that may be too soon for you. I don't know, but anything is possible. Anything is possible. But the next one is in Los Angeles in 2028. So right here in the United States. So, man, that would be that would be a dream come true for you. I mean, definitely you have a slew of family and fans behind you going to the Olympics. So, but I'm really pretty impressed at your outlook and your ambitions, and definitely very impressive. And just the idea of juxtaposing your sport with education, which, like you said, you want to be a pilot in aviation. So, man, I'm super excited to be talking to you. Obviously, you are a star in the making, without a doubt. So I'm really impressed. And so looking at the Olympics and World Championship, yes, that's definitely a step in the right direction, and something that you would definitely aspire to. But in terms of support, I know your dad's proud of you, mom's proud of you. How have things been coming around for you so far in terms of how you're progressing with how you with your competitions and training and all of that? To give us a little insight into that, because it's important for the younger folks out there to listen to you, a young man like you, talk about how you're progressing with your career and the support of your family and other folks in the community. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the community around me, it's been really overwhelmingly supportive, because before, I mean, it was really supportive, but like I wasn't really competing. So, I mean, now it feels good, because when I go to competitions, I always know I have multiple coaches checking my scores, giving me advice when I'm at the competitions. And my school, they're also really supportive. They actually had a whole live stream, like when they were trying to watch me fence. And I was it was really wonderful. And I felt really appreciated there. And my family, they're always my biggest supporters. They're always like encouraging me and helping me with my preparations, because I have to like check my blades to make sure there's no electronical difficulties before. Okay. But they've just been driving me around / flying me around the country for my competitions. So I've just been really grateful to have them with me.
Wonderful. Look, Semaj, it's been a pleasure talking to you here. And I take pride in basically projecting young proteges like yourself that are on the verge of becoming major stars, and also, being inspiration to other young men and women out there, young girls out there, young boys out there who have ambitions, dreams, obviously. And I really appreciate it, and you taking your time to really come on and talk to us about your sport, fencing. And it'll be amazing to have. I'm throwing this out there, but just to have Sierra Leone on the map was fencing in the future. I'm just saying, but not saying that's where you should go, but I'm just saying, just putting it out there. If that happens to be the case, then we definitely will appreciate that. And promotions will continue regardless of whatever. We're all here in America, so definitely I will do my best to help to continue to project what you're doing. And obviously we'll love to have you come back at some point in time to talk about your next adventure, your next tournament, and how you fared on and how you're progressing, and keep us updated on how you're moving on in the sport.
Okay, I will. Thank you so much for having me on here. It's just been a wonderful opportunity.
You're very welcome. And obviously, we appreciate your school for giving projecting you out there and your schoolmates to be proud of you and stuff like that. So yeah, great support you have around you. Great support, mom and dad. James Toussaint, we call him my Lord.
Yeah,
you know that, right? You know that? Do you know that? That's that's your dad's nickname, my Lord. Yes. Where's he? Yeah. So yeah, we're very proud to. I'm very proud to do this for you and do this with you. And obviously, your dad, like I said, is very super passionate about sports, and of course, coming from Sierra Leone, he's very proud of his background, his roots, and definitely we're in talks all the time. So obviously, this is great. But fencing, yes, this is refreshing. This is a breath of fresh air, you know, if I could put it that way. So we look forward to seeing you in the future. Obviously, I'll catch up with you again. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.